Hello everyone, Dave here, and in this video we'll be looking at loneliness. Now, what exactly is loneliness? Loneliness is a feeling of isolation, of being separate from everybody else. Not always necessarily being on your own as an individual. You can feel loneliness when you're in a group. You can feel loneliness when there's 2 or 3 people next to you. You can feel loneliness when you're by yourself. It is more common, of course, for loneliness to develop when you are by yourself rather than in a group. This is due to our need to socialize and interact with others of our species, be it male, female, transgender, young, old. It doesn't matter. Anyone and everyone can feel alone. But why is this? Why, in the last few years, have cases of loneliness or feeling isolated increased when we have this marvelous technology known as the World Wide Web? Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, MySpace, if it's still going, Bebo, if it's still going. All these social media sites that are supposed to develop and increase social interaction. Why has the cases of loneliness gone up? I think this is part due to when you're on social media, you're not really speaking to those people, not face to face anyway. You're not in the same room as them. You're not really getting a conversation going. It's the occasional, hey, how are you? Or happy birthday kind of thing, rather than an in-depth conversation and many hours or even a few minutes spent in that person's presence. There was a time in the past where entire neighborhoods were formed. You know, the street that you lived in, everyone knew everyone and had time to speak to everyone else. Nowadays, we rush around, content in our own worlds, ignoring everyone else around us. There are very few people in this world who know the names of their neighbours, who know the names of the entire street that they live in, who know that Jill from down the road works at Fishmongers, and Bob from up the way is a fireman, and Jim, who lives next door, is a retired war veteran. There are very few people who know this information. The biggest cases of loneliness are documented for those aged 50 and over, and those aged between 20 and 30. So the oldest demographic and the young adults, if you will, are the ones that feel most alone and isolated from the world. And teenagers, well, yes, teenagers definitely feel isolated and alone. They feel like nobody else knows what they're going through. That's just what we do. We were teenagers once. But nobody wants to talk about it. Everyone is afraid or preconceived that if they show any bit of weakness, that they'll be laughed at, scoffed, and dismissed. There was a brilliant Hate the Ages advert last year for Christmas where it showed an old man who was literally by himself. His wife had died. He tried to contact his family or friends and just left out some messages. And he goes shopping every other day. One day when he goes shopping, place is closed. Nobody there at that shop where he goes to, where he gets his one bit of interaction every now and again. And then he goes home by himself, alone, having no one with him, having no one there to speak to him. Now this is a common occurrence that happens every day throughout this country. And not just for the older generation, but there are quite a lot of young people as well who are that isolated, whose days just roll into one another, and there isn't any difference between them. It's a great shame, especially when social media can be used for so much great things apart from just the occasional, hey, how are you? It can be used to arrange to meet up with these people that you don't see very often, which is good. But once again, you can feel loneliness when in a group, isolated from the others. This being because you have perhaps different views to what they are. You don't actually understand where the conversation is going or what the conversation is about. You have no idea how to interact with these people. The joys of social awkwardness. Sometimes, if we just listen and ask questions, we'll begin to feel like we belong in that group, that we're meant to be there, not just isolated on the outside or tagger on. Now, I'm not saying this is easy. I'm not. I understand that loneliness is a great and powerful thing that can lead to things like depression, self-doubt, all sorts of mental illnesses can be exacerbated by loneliness. There are disabilities that also go towards loneliness that make you feel alone. Things like Asperger's, things like autism. These mental disabilities that socially isolate you or make you feel that you're socially isolated, that you can speak to no one, that you can talk to no one. These sound familiar because everyone suffers from it in some way, shape or form. Feeling alone, feeling isolated, feeling that they're not good enough for anyone else. Even if you're in a relationship, there will be times when you just feel alone. The love of your life could be sitting right next to you, could be literally curled up on your shoulder, but you feel alone. How can we combat loneliness? By speaking to people, by socially interacting with them, by getting to know those who live on your street and just literally saying hello, taking 5 minutes out of your day just to speak to somebody. We're so preoccupied with our busy lives that we don't have time for ourselves or others. That is what I think is causing loneliness. The fact that we're so busy rushing around with our head in the clouds or looking down at our phones rather than speaking to people. Anyway, that's my thoughts on loneliness. What do you guys think? Please do leave a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video around to spread the word and spread knowledge. Knowledge. It is power if we use it wisely.